This is just right in everything, isn't it? Can I maybe hang this? Maybe hang this up? Maybe that looks terrible. That looks just awful. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay, we'll do this. It's Christmas time, and you know what that means. It's time for Santa to go for his annual duel against the devil. That's right, Santa Claus versus the devil. Sounds like a weird fan fiction, right? Nope, it's a real movie, and it's real weird. So this movie is a movie from 1959. It was made in Mexico, and it won the Golden Gate Award for Best International Family Film. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this, because I don't know what the standards were for like movies back then, but if this were made today, yeah, it would probably wouldn't go over so well. I mean, it's funny. Like, it's funny to watch. Award-winning, apparently. So we have this narrator who basically walks us through this entire movie. He begins by introducing where Santa lives, which is
away up in the heavens, far out in space.
In a castle in space. Everyone knows Santa's in his space castle because he's an alien.
But let's move in for a closer look. Come along.
This is how he likes to spend his time. He likes to fidget around with nativity scenes and laugh. Okay, so he laughs for a long time.
It's almost Christmas, and I hope you'll pardon me, but you know I mustn't be late.
He stops laughing for 0.3 seconds, and he walks over to an organ, and he starts to play the organ, because organ just really puts him in the right mindset for delivering toys. He needs his organ time before he can even think about Christmas, okay?
This is Santa's Toyland, a sort of international toy factory. Here are gathered boys and girls of different races and creeds. They have come from many lands to help Santa bring joy and happiness to all of the Earth's children.
His helpers, who are children from around the world, are all standing in a room together, singing while he plays the organ.
Santa's helpers from Spain.
This kid's churning butter, I guess. Man, Santa's into it. He's having a great time. But they just all look like someone showed up at their house that day and was like, you want to be in a movie? And just like took him in a room and was like, all right, sing this song, get started. And then we cut to hell. The demons are having their annual Christmas ballet. I guess this is just how demons like to spend their time, dancing around in hell, you know, for a little while.
Begone, all of you! Except Pitch.
Lucifer calls out Pitch. So he's got a special job for Pitch.
You, Pitch, chief of all my demons, must listen closely. If you do not succeed in making all the children of the earth do evil,
No small order from the devil himself. If Pitch fails,
You shall be punished, and instead of red hot coals, you will eat chocolate ice cream.
No, no, Lucifer, king of all the evil spirits. Not that. Frozen meals are bad for me, especially chocolate. It's very bad for my digestion, which is so delicate.
he's lactose intolerant. And if he has to eat chocolate ice cream, Pitch's lactose intolerant demon farts, like, honestly, this is just a bad idea. I mean, I'm assuming Lucifer also lives in hell, so he's just gonna have to deal with the farts as well. But Lucifer's a heartless son of a bitch. And then the human world. The most terrifying Santa dummy, just like the real Santa. It's laughing for no reason. All these people standing outside the storefront looking in. No wonder that all these people are standing outside, because they're afraid to go in. We are introduced to the main child characters of this movie.
Here is a good little boy whose daddy is quite rich.
His parents are like socialites, I guess, and they spend all their time out, and he just wants them to stay home with him. So this rich boy is sad because his parents don't fucking love him.
This mother, on the other hand, is very poor. And this is her daughter, Lupita.
And all she wants in this life is a doll. Like, her entire existence revolves around getting a doll.
Who are these three? Say, it's rude to push and shove like that. But the devil likes rude little boys, and it doesn't take him long to find them.
And then there's three evil boys who just wreak havoc throughout this movie. Pitch approaches the boys, and nobody can see Pitch, by the way, in this movie. He just kind of whispers in people's ears, and then that manifests in their thoughts to make them want to do evil things. Pitch is already off to a terrible start in his quest to turn all the children of the world evil. He literally decided to start with three boys who are already evil. You don't need to waste your time, Pitch. They're done. Like, they're already evil. It even says in the movie, like, they've already turned their backs on Santa, who I guess represents God in this movie.
Suddenly, he's with them again. Out of nowhere, he produces 3 rocks, and his evil plan goes into action. This is bad. Oh! Ah!
That kid has one hell of an arm. He chucked a rock straight into space. So Santa's pissed off.
That old devil is always annoying me with his mischief. If I could only go down there now, I'd put him in his place. But everyone knows I can only go down to Earth on Christmas Eve and not before.
So, to spy on the children of the world while he can't be there on Earth, he uses his magical observatory.
This is Santa's magic observatory. What wonderful instruments. The ear scope, the teletalker that knows everything, the cosmic telescope, the master eye. Nothing that happens on Earth is unknown to Santa Claus.
Nothing that happens on Earth is unknown to Santa because of the tools in his magic observatory. And oh boy, these are some terrible things. Honestly, just the worst. Already. I don't like the fact that Santa has something like this in his magical observatory. I don't want to think about the type of things Santa does with that when there's nobody else in the observatory with him. That's By
thy magic powers, look for the child we're seeking, whether she's in a cave or behind a million mountains.
He says, find her whether she's in a cave or behind a million mountains. Weirdly specific thing. You know, I don't know. Maybe Lupita spends a lot of time in caves and behind mountains, okay? So they use this telescope, and it just looks like a normal telescope, right? Oh no. Santa's magical observatory. There needs to be a tiny little tentacle eye that comes out of the side of the telescope, and that's what they need to use to look at Lupita. Not the normal telescope that they have, the tiny creepy tentacle eye. Of course. Of course. Of course.
I think I found the girl.
Where? Where is she?
In Mexico.
Lupita isn't thinking of stealing that doll, is she? No, no, Lupita. You shouldn't steal. Put it back.
Lupita! Lupita, come here.
So she's decided she's going to steal this doll. She stuffs it under her tiny little child jacket. So then Pitch approaches her.
It's yours. Nobody saw you take it, Lupita. They have more and they won't miss it. What does one little doll matter, don't you see?
Pitch approaches her after she's already stolen the doll. So again, Pitch is wasting his time.
That's right. Put it back. Good girl.
And she only questions if she's going to steal the doll when Pitch tells her that she should. So I think Pitch is just real bad at his job. He's definitely going to have to eat the chocolate ice cream. He should have just let her do whatever. She probably would have stolen the doll if he hadn't come up to her and told her to.
Hooray for her! Hooray for her!
Santa's loving it. He's like, hell yeah, that girl's fucking sad. I'm Santa Claus, and I love it when little girls cry because they can't have the one thing in life that they want. And it's literally something I could have given her last Christmas, but I didn't because I'm an asshole. I think Santa and Pitch honestly need to trade places because, like, Santa's evil. He could have given this girl a doll and decided not to. And Pitch, like, she was stealing a doll, but when he came up to her and told her to, she put it back. Santa continues to use his terrifying machines to spy on children.
Come, Pedro, find them.
By thy magic powers, look for the child we're seeking, whether he is in a cave or behind a million mountains. Okay.
And again, he says whether he's in a cave or behind a million mountains. And this is how the telescope operates. Like, you have to tell it that the kids are going to be either in a cave or behind a million mountains. And that's the only two places any given child could be. They're definitely spying on too many kids that are in caves. So now Santa has decided he needs to spy on the dreams of these children. He goes back to spying on Lupita because he hasn't ruined this child's life enough.
Confounded devil. Why can't he leave Lupita alone?
So Pitch can also influence people's dreams by blowing on them. He wants her to steal the doll. So he's trying to influence her dream to make her want to steal a doll, right? So let's find out what he makes her dream of.
I've a little dahlia dressed up in blue. She's very pretty and her name is Sue.
So she's in a scary, foggy room. Oh my God. This is a nightmare. She's having a nightmare. Pitch has made her have a nightmare about dolls, and now she's never going to want to see a doll again, right? Like, why is Pitch so bad at his job? I'm honestly terrified of this scene. It's really... But Lupita stands her ground and doesn't want to turn evil, probably because she's so terrified of what she's just endured. Now we have the letter writing scene where all of the kids of the world are writing letters to Santa. They send the letters into the post office. The post office is just overrun by these letters. The post office throws them in a chute, which I guess just blasts them straight into space. The letters are coming in. Santa decides to open one up, and this is what that kid asks for.
My dear Santa Claus, this year I have behaved very well. For that reason, please try to bring me these toys. A toy automobile, a submarine, a football, a bat, roller skates, a scooter, a cannon, a rocket, a bicycle, an atomic laboratory, a machine gun. Ooh!
I want a scooter and a football and a baseball and a toy car and a rocket and a machine gun and an atomic lab. Jesus, kid. And Santa just goes,
Ooh, golly. So be it.
So be it. Santa's just like, well, kid's been good this year. Nothing weird about a kid wanting a machine gun. And then Santa opens another letter.
And as my two little brothers have behaved very well, you must see to it that they get everything. A falsehood.
And Santa's like, oh, hell no. This is the nicest letter, saying, my brothers have been so good. This seems like a genuinely nice child. Santa's like, y'all lying. I ain't getting y'all shit. So now it's time to pay a visit to Santa's most devoted helper. So who do you think it is? Is it an elf? Is it Rudolph? Is it one of the kids from one of the countries?
Here is Merlin the Wizard, Santa's most devoted helper.
If you guessed Merlin the Wizard, you were right.
Oh, Merlin! Merlin, where are you? Mr. Merlin! Oh, Merlin! Mr. Merlin!
What's the matter? Oh, Santa Claus, what a start you gave me.
Tell me if the sleeping powders are make the dreaming powders that fill everyone with joy and goodwill and the flower to disappear.
So I'm pretty sure Merlin has forgotten to make these things for Santa.
What's the date, eh?
On the Earth, it's the eve of the 25th of December.
Oh, so it is.
It's Christmas Eve, Merlin. I need my goods. And Merlin's like, oh, shit.
To begin with, you need an urn. Yes, sirree. Oops. Oh, what a dummy I am. I forgot the urn.
He keeps forgetting this urn, right? Like that he literally just got out of this cupboard. So I'm pretty sure he's just stalling for time.
The last ingredient is the most important thing. Oh, gosh. What a memory. I keep forgetting the urn.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that Merlin's just like BSing this whole thing. So Merlin makes these things for Santa to use. He makes them this powder that makes kids fall asleep, another powder that makes them dream, and then a flower that Santa can use to make himself invisible. Santa just cannot remember how to use any of these things.
You know about them. The same as last Christmas. Don't you remember?
Yes. I'm afraid I have forgotten. As a man continues to get older, he begins to forget everything.
Every year my memory fails me more, and it seems I'm good for nothing.
Santa's just like, yep, he just lets Merlin say that. The least you can do is say, you're not useless, Merlin. I need these things. So Santa takes out the flower.
Smell it, and you disappear.
Well, what do I have to do to make myself visible again?
Oh, what happened to your memory? Can't you remember anything?
Santa remembers, oh yeah.
Why, of course. Ah.
Smells the flower again. The exact same thing he did to make himself invisible. So not only is Santa forgetful, but he's also just fucking stupid.
Much obliged to you, Mr. Merlin. I'll be back again to see you next year.
So I guess he only sees Merlin once a year, even though Merlin, 1, is his most devoted helper, and 2, lives with Santa, but Santa only goes once a year. I don't know how they avoid each other. They live together. Maybe Merlin's a prisoner. Santa's got him like locked up. It's like, all right, see you later. And Santa goes to see his master keymaker, or as I like to call him, Papa Gimli.
Thank you, my dear keymaker. Only you could make a key such as this, which would turn the lock of every door on Earth.
Please try it on the locks of 1,000 magic portals.
So Santa goes over to this door that I guess is the magic portal, like the first of 1,000, and he just kind of rubs the key around the lock. Something about the way you just kind of rub it, or it makes me uncomfortable. So he does that. It's time for him to go to Earth, right? Time for him to load up the sleigh and get ready to go to Earth. So he winds up his mechanical reindeer. Honestly, doesn't really seem that weird in comparison to everything else that we've seen thus far. So I'm just gonna let that one slide. One of the kids that lives with him brings him a book.
Here's a list of all the gifts, names, and addresses.
Well, just put it over there. Well, thank heaven I still have a very good memory, hey?
Santa, you were just talking to Merlin about how forgetful you are. You couldn't remember to smell a flower to reappear when it's literally what you did to disappear, and you just did it last year too. But you remember every child and their addresses and like what they wanted for Christmas. Like, oh, I don't need that. I know all the kids. I know all their names. I know all their addresses. I know they're either in a cave or behind a million mountains. So then this kid gives him the book. He reminds him,
don't forget that you've got to return to the castle ahead of the sunrise because the sun will turn the reindeer into dust.
In that case, I couldn't get back to the castle, and on what they use for food, I'd perish, because here our main food is pastries and ice cream made of soft clouds, and on the earth there's no such thing.
So if Santa doesn't get back, he will starve to death, which is just kind of funny, honestly, to imagine that's how Santa dies. He just starves because he refuses to eat any of the food that's on Earth. So then the kid asks,
what food do they eat on Earth, Santa Claus?
And Santa's like, just whatever they can get their filthy human hands on.
Oh, everything in sight. They eat most of the animals, the plants, the flowers, the roots, birds, even smoke and alcohol.
But this strikes me as a little strange, honestly, because these kids are supposed to be from Earth, right? Like, we had that whole scene at the beginning where it's introducing all the kids from the different countries, but this kid doesn't know what they eat on Earth, but he's from Earth, right? So he should know. Like, he grew up at least to that point in his childhood before he moved in with Santa. I can only assume that this child has not actually ever lived on Earth, right? He grew up with Santa in space. So does Santa take babies? Oh God. Santa kidnaps children. That puts a whole different spin on this situation that Santa's got going on here. Now that I'm thinking about it, he's having a real great time when he's singing and he's like playing the organ. Santa, please stop kidnapping children. Please stop making them sing. Just let them go home. I don't like it. but that's just how it is. Now we have a bit of character development with the children that we've been following. The rich boy, you know, he's in bed. His parents are leaving again, going to a party. He's all sad because they're not going to be there with him on Christmas Eve. And the evil boys are still evil. They're plotting to kidnap Santa and make him their slave. Lupita is talking to her mom. She's saying, why doesn't Santa bring poor people dolls? Which is like a fair question. Her mom just casually like throws some shade at Jesus.
That Christ was born many years ago, and he was even poorer than we are.
Oh, weird flex, but okay. So Santa goes to this house and Pitch is there. He's ready to fuck with Santa. So he takes the top of the chimney and pushes it so that Santa won't be able to go down. Even though you can still see the whole of the chimney, like he just moves the top part. It'll still go into the house, it just doesn't have the actual chimney portion. And Santa is fooled. Santa tries to go down the chimney, but the top part of the chimney just leads to the roofs. He gets out and he's like, oh, guess I better find a different way in. And he takes out a little tiny white umbrella. I assumed he was just going to go down into the hole, you know, where the chimney still is. But no, he floats down to the ground and just breaks in the front door. So this type of stuff just kind of continues. Pitch and Santa just messing with each other. Santa blows some smoke up into Pitch's face, and then at the next house, Pitch starts a fire in the chimney before Santa can come down and like burns his little Santa Tookus a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
Pitch heats up a door handle to try and burn Santa's hand, and Santa sneaks in the window and shoots Pitch with a cannon that I can only assume he was going to give to a child. And then Santa makes his way to the rich boy's house, and this is where things get a little strange. Santa starts putting toys under his tree, and then he goes up to the boy and he goes, I know these presents won't make you happy, but here's what I can give you that might make you happy. And then he goes, Santa stares at him a little too creepy for my taste, but we know Santa's reputation with kids now, so it's creepy, but we get it. Oh my God, Santa. Get your hand off that child's ass.
I love you, Sonny.
Oh my God.
Just as much as your parents.
He looks like he's never held a child before.
Because no one loves a child as much as his parents.
What are you doing? What is that? What is that?
And now, go back to sleep again.
Santa, put him down. You have enough kids back at home, okay? You don't need to add another one to your collection. Please put him down.
It was all a sweet dream.
Thank God. So Santa decides he's gonna help this rich boy out, right? So he goes to where his parents are at some restaurant. He holds out this tray and these cocktails are just smoking on this tray.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Martins. They're both looking pretty well, though, aren't they?
Again, Santa says nothing. He just approaches them, holds out a tray, and they just kind of stare at him.
That's a strange cocktail, isn't it?
It's the cocktail of remembrance which only I can prepare. Whoever drinks it will think of that which is most dear, and which at times, for some unknown reason, we seem to forget.
Stop being such a creep. For the love of God, please, Santa, you have to stop. I mean, who in their right mind wouldn't accept a cocktail of remembrance from a complete stranger who has just told you that only they can prepare it? Not suspicious at all. Complete stranger, weird smoking cocktail, I'm in. And they are in.
Well, since we are very much in love, may it always be that way.
So they drink the cocktail. Obviously, when a stranger approaches you with a cocktail, you're just gonna down the hatch, boys. And then they're like, oh yes, the spawn that I brought to this earth. I do love him. I didn't remember that until a strange man brought me a smoking cocktail. I must return home. And that's the end of the rich boy's story arc. His parents are back home finally, and they love him again. So now we're back with the three little boys. They're still being evil, and Pitch is still hanging out with them. They're plotting to capture Santa, and I guess Santa knows, and like there's this weird noise.
Get your head down, here comes Santa!
And then Santa shoots a rocket at them. I mean, I can't think of what else that could be. So they fail, and they get coal. What a shocker. And that's the end of their little story arc. Santa gets back onto his sleigh. Pitch decides that he's going to steal Santa's magic powder and the flour. And Santa, I guess, doesn't notice that Pitch has done this, but he looks directly at him. And maybe spits on his face, then I guess just forgets about the whole thing. So after Pitch steals Santa's magic items, Santa goes to the next house, doesn't realize that his stuff is gone, and there's a dog there at the house, and the dog starts chasing Santa, and Santa is forced to climb a tree because he doesn't have his magical powers anymore. And then it's just like a weird montage of Pitch trying to wake everyone up in the house and him making them call the police so that the police will show up and everyone will find Santa in this tree. So he will get arrested, or I guess so that he'll be stuck there until sunrise so that he'll starve to death. And then Santa calls on the help of Merlin, and Merlin goes to the magical observatory, finds Santa, tells Santa that he needs to use a cat toy from his sack.
Use one of the toy cats that you wind up.
Shoo, 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 shoo.
Hurry! You barely have time now.
I still have one more friend to visit. I mustn't fail her.
He gives Lupita a doll, and that's the end of the movie.
And so once again, Santa returns to his palace from his yearly Christmas rounds.
And that's it. Santa returns back to his castle, and I guess everyone lives happily ever after. Except Pitch, who is eating ice cream in hell as we speak. I don't know. This movie is just so weird. Like, you got Merlin, you got Papa Gimli hanging out. If there's one thing I learned from watching this movie, Santa needs to go to jail. I've tried telling the police about this, that Santa has kid prisoners in a castle in space. But they don't want to take me seriously, so I really need you guys to help me out. Maybe if we all comment something like Santa kidnaps kids, someone will see it and help us in our cause. We need to bring the abuse that Santa has inflicted on children for hundreds of years to light. I don't want to know what he does with these kids when they're too old for his liking. What happens to them? Does he just chuck them off the cloud? I have so many questions, and honestly, I don't expect that they'll ever be answered. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a comment down below, guys. Drop a like. No, but I am serious. If you leave a like and you leave a comment, it really does help me out a lot. You have no idea how helpful that is, especially for a channel that's just starting out. I know that I only have one video right now, but I really want to make this work. And if you thought it was funny, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I know every YouTuber says that stuff, but honestly, it does help a lot. and it will help me continue to make these. I had a lot of fun doing the research for this video and watching this movie. So thanks for watching, guys. I guess that's it. I really don't know what to say. This is an outro. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!